Greetings and welcome, this is KYC News for you. Today we will see why is the Donbas so important for Russia. Stay tuned. Why is the Donbas so important for Russia? Russian troops may be on the approach of capturing control of the eastern Ukrainian region of Luhansk, a crucial aim for Vladimir Putin in the assault on Ukraine. The fate of the eastern Ukrainian region of Donbas will be decided in the war for the industrial city of Severodonetsk, President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. His warning comes after more than 3 months of fierce warfare with Russian troops aiming to capture the strategically crucial city. There are various reasons why Russia has decided to attack the Donbas region in particular. Special ties with Russia? Luhansk and Donetsk are administrative regions, oblasts, in the same category as the Crimean Peninsula in that a disproportionately high percentage of the population in each of these regions speaks Russian as their mother tongue and identifies as being of Russian ethnicity. The situation is the same in Odessa, Zaporizhia, and Kharkiv all at the same time. However, Russians of Russian ancestry make up the majority of the population in only one region, Crimea. After the Orange Revolution in 2004 and the Maidan uprisings in 2013 and 2014, the opposition to Ukraine leaning closer towards the west was strongest in these parts of Ukraine. These events took place after the Orange Revolution in 2004. Militant Russian separatists started battling for control of the province, likely with help from Moscow, while Russia took advantage of the power vacuum in Kiev and annexed Crimea at the same time. According to Andreas Heinemann-Grutter, an expert on Eastern Europe at the Bonn International Center for Conflict Studies, these are two of the many occasions where the Russians acted according to the principle that opportunity makes the thief. He is under the impression that there was not any elaborate scheme behind this. What's the historical context? Because of the abundant coal reserves in the area, the Donbas, which had a very low population density until the middle of the 19th century, developed into one of the most important hubs of Russian industrialization. During this period, public use of Ukrainian was suppressed in the Russian Empire, and Russian established itself as the language of education, explained historian Guido Hausmann from the Leibniz Institute for East and Southeast European Studies in the city of Regensburg, which is located in the southern German state of Bavaria. Hausmann works at the Leibniz Institute for East and Southeast European Studies. The new industrial region in Russia attracted a large number of Russian peasants as well. Although the Donbas was not a part of Ukraine during its fleeting period of independence in 1918, it was annexed to the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic at the end of the Russian Civil War. During the time of the Soviet Union, there was a steady influx of people from Russia into the area. According to Hausmann, there were in fact a great number of persons who had connections to Russia, or more specifically, the Soviet Union. However, the people in Donbas always also spoke Ukrainian, and the majority still had a strong connection to Ukraine, he said. However, the majority of the people in Donbas still maintained a strong connection to Ukraine. According to Heinemann-Grutter, it is a fallacy to suppose that a person's ethnicity or their mother tongue can provide any kind of insight into their national identification within the Ukrainian community. He stated that some of the Ukrainian army battalions that battled against the separatists in 2014 and 2015 spoke Russian. Russian was even spoken by some of the Ukrainian army battalions, he claimed. He went on to say that this was most likely not the case any longer due to the fact that the use of Russian has decreased everywhere. If there has been any contribution to forming the Ukrainian nation, then it has been the Russian aggressions of the past 8 years, he stated. If there has been any contribution to forming the Ukrainian country, then it has been the Russian aggressions. The dropping of Russian bombs has had the effect of bringing Ukrainians closer together. Is Eastern Ukraine economically important? Following the end of World War II, the industrial districts of Siberia developed a greater importance for the Soviet Union as a whole than the Donbas did. On the other hand, for Ukraine, it continued to be the most important industrial zone right up until 2014. However, it has endured a great deal of damage, and a significant number of the mines, particularly in regions controlled by separatists, are now abandoned or in a very poor shape. Over the previous few weeks, an even greater number of industrial facilities and infrastructure have been destroyed. According to Hausman, the economic significance of the region was of less concern to Russia than it was to Ukraine if the latter sought to maintain its economic autonomy. One of the most important goals for Russia in this war is to ensure that Ukraine will always be economically, culturally, and politically dependent on Russia. Symbolic importance. 8 years ago, pro-Russian separatists declared the oblasts of Luhansk and Donetsk to be separate people's republics. Since then, war has raged in the Donbas region. A fragile ceasefire and a line of contact separating Ukrainian-controlled parts from separatist areas in the region bordering Russia were agreed upon as part of the Minsk II agreement in 2015, following a period of open battles between the separatists and the Ukrainian army. This took place after a period of open fighting between the separatists and the Ukrainian army. On February 21, 2022, Russia gave its official recognition to the self-proclaimed People's Republics of Luhansk and Donetsk. This was 3 days before Russia invaded Ukraine. According to Heinemann Grutter, who indicated that Russia would need to seize the entire land in order to complete the annexation that it prepared with this acknowledgement, by this, the Russian government meant all of Donbas. At that point, it would be in a position to declare a triumph at home and, maybe, an end to the conflict. Successful denazification? In addition, Ukrainian military units with far-right and nationalist views have also battled in the region. One example of this is the Azov Battalion, which aided in preventing pro-Russian rebels from capturing Mariupol in 2014. They fought in the region to prevent this. This information has been utilized by the Kremlin in order to bolster its accusations that Nazis had penetrated the administration of Ukraine. In May, Russia announced that it had successfully conquered the industrial port city of Mariupol, which had come to symbolize the resilience of the Ukrainian people throughout the siege and shelling that had been going on for weeks. This gave Putin a symbolic win. In April, Heinemann Grutter made the statement that what remains of Ukraine will be decided by the conclusion of the war in Donbas. By annexing Crimea, Russia not only conquered the former home port of Russia's once proud Black Sea Fleet, but it also gained a port that is ice-free all year round near its European part for the first time since the fall of the Soviet Union. This was a significant victory for Russia, as it was the first time since the fall of the Soviet Union that such a port had been accessible to Russia. However, for the time being, Crimea is still considered an autonomous exclave. A bridge that crossed the Kerch Strait and was completed in 2018 is the only way to connect it to the Russian mainland. If Russia is successful in its conquest of the entire Donbas region, it will obtain access to the port of Mariupol, which has connections to both the Crimean Peninsula and the Mediterranean. According to Heinemann Grutter, additional military opportunities could very well be on the horizon. If Putin perceives an opportunity to dissolve Ukraine as an independent state, he will seize it, he stated. The issue that would then be posed to the Ukrainian government would be as follows: in order to save Kiev, do we have to give up Donbas? We really hope that you learned the most from this video. If so, please like it and remember to subscribe to this channel for more. Enjoy your time.